Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Galloway Park. I am in one of the parts of town that is just booming. So many young families are moving to this area. I'm in Galloway Park, which is on the, let's call it the southwest part of town. In fact, I could take a softball and I could probably hit T from here. But really, look at this, Joel. This is fantastic. I've got the neighborhood from Galloway Park. I've got the Candlelight neighborhood and others that came here today for this listening and learning session. Jesse Schmeichel was kind enough to set this up. I do these all the time, all around the great city. But today we're going to learn from people that are living in this neighborhood. We'll hear the goods, the bads, and maybe even a couple of uglies. And I really look forward to it. As you can tell, I've got some young people excited, but I think I've got some older folks excited as well. So with that in mind, again, welcome. It's good to be with you. Who wants to kick it off with either educating the mayor on something that you want to tell me about, or does anybody have a question? And remember, there's no questions that are off limits. So again, it's good to be here. Who wants to start? Thank you.
Mayor Huether, as you can see.
First, if you don't mind, folks, just give me at least your first name. And because the people of Sioux Falls want to know you too.
Sure. Sam Amato, and
Thanks,
I live in the area here. As you can see, we have a beautiful park here.
It is.
And a beautiful piece of water. We do see some people using it as recreational, but I continue to get letters from the city telling me, do not use that pond for any form of recreation, including something as simple as ice skating. Can you just tell us what it is about it that we can't use it for anything?
Well, the first thing that came to mind when you said as simple as ice skating, it scared me to no end. Again, Sam, you and I are a bit older than in the way we used to play in the olden days is different. But Sam, let's talk about just ice skating, for example. It certainly would be simple. We know it gets cold here. Ice forms there. But the challenge is that we want to also keep people safe. And it's the number one role that I have as your mayor. The number one thing I have to do is to make sure that people are safe. And so when we look at that water, that body of water, not only do we see beauty, but we also see some potential challenges with it as well. Ice skating would be a phenomenal challenge. Just because, again, we can't guarantee that ice is going to be thick enough to hold whatever activity is going on there. But now, I don't know, though, if they allow fishing. I don't know if they allow, I'm sure they certainly don't allow swimming in there, or certainly don't want you to. But Sam, I guess what I would ask is that if there's certain things that you want to do, certain activities that you want to try in this neighborhood, you can work with the Parks and Rec team. But also remember, our number one priority always with that body of water is safety, always. And it's not just here; it's all over. I've got a big Sioux River that goes right through our town, and people not only want to see it, but they want to certainly get into it. And every time they do, there certainly are challenges with it. But so, Sam, what is it that, other than maybe ice skating, what would you like us to do?
It's full of fish.
Yeah.
It's full of goldfish, which are technically carp.
Yep.
I've been in touch with the city, and they don't want you fishing in there. They don't want you kayaking in there.
Yeah.
They don't want you using it for anything. And it's unfortunate. And we do see people doing those things.
Okay.
But I just think it's a great resource to waste, because it is so nice. And some of our properties are right up against it. So. Well,
I think this would be a good one. And Joel, we got to get a picture of that lake at some point in time, or body of water. I'm a sportsman. I'm a fisherman. I love to hunt. And yeah, my first reaction is I'd love to throw a line in there too, especially with my young people. If I'm a grandma and a grandpa, or a mom and a dad, the one thing that we don't do anymore is teach people how to fish, and we don't teach people how to hunt. And this would be a great place to throw a Zebco rod and reel out there, and just throw some worms or whatever it would be and catch some goldfish or crappie or whatever it would be. But I don't have a good answer for you, Sam, but we will check that out, and Jesse will let you know.
Okay, thank you.
No, good job. Thank you. All right, who's got the next? Thank you.
We're on the topic of
Here hang on. Thank you.
I do.
Welcome.
I do love the pond, and we love the pond.
It's beautiful.
It is. When our house was purchased 11 years ago, that was a cornfield. Now it's a man-made pond, and now we're in a flood zone. So, what's your question about it?
What is the city doing to mitigate the risk of it flooding?
Sure. Now let me ask you. The body of water didn't make it a flood zone. This whole area was reevaluated by the Corps, the Corps of Engineers, and that happens. It happens all over the country. And what was interesting, though, about this neighborhood is that there was one area of our city that came out of the flood zone, okay? And then at about that same time, the Corps evaluated another part of our town, and then they put certain properties into the flood zone. And that's going to be continuous. It is. Now, there will be a process. Of course, right now, you're worried about probably not only your homes, but also the price you're paying for insurance.
Right.
Isn't that right?
Right.
Okay, and what did it go up, please?
How much?
What?
Well, like even our insurance guy said, if you're going to sell your house, you can drop $50,000 off the overall price, based on the fact that you're in a flood zone.
Who told you that?
Our insurance guy.
Well, he's he or she. They're exaggerating.
Okay.
No, they're exaggerating. Again, this happens all over the country. It is, as the Corps is trying to evaluate not only how much rain we're getting, how the runoff happens, where the flooding is occurring in different parts. They make changes. Here's one thing that I will tell you, is that even though you may have properties that are now in the flood zone, these properties are as hot as they've ever been. If anyway you want to sell a house, get it on camera. If anybody wants to sell a house, it'll be sold in about 30 days, if not less. So again, I understand your concerns about the flood zones, what the Corps has done, but that process will get through it. You will get through it, and then either the city or the Corps will work to try to mitigate that flood risk, and then as they do and they reevaluate it, your properties and your insurance will get adjusted as well.
Okay.
Yeah, good job. You know what, that's interesting. I've not had a flood question in probably 7 years.
Really?
Yeah, because when I was first elected, oh my goodness, we had so much flooding, so many challenges
Right.
because we were really struggling with our infrastructure. Now, I will tell you, since I've been your mayor, we've had 3 100-year rain events. 3, okay? That's supposed to happen. That means it's only supposed to happen once every 100 years. We've had 3. We've had 1 300-year rain event, and we just had, as you know, right out here, our first 1,000-year rain event.
So it's your fault.
It's not my fault, my friend, Sam. Sam, it's not. But I do think that there are some things that are happening. You know, we had an ice storm, which certainly, you know, I'll never forget, and more. So again, good question, though. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Please. Thank you. Could I get a water?
My name's Angie, and I'm kind of on the same topic as far as, like, I'm not in the flood zone.
Yes.
Well, no one could tell me if I was in the flood zone, so I had to get flood insurance, and then finally they said that I wasn't. So anyways, but what does the city do to mandate the contractors that built these homes on their drainage policies?
Yes.
Because my property, everybody's water comes into my property.
Okay.
So my sump pump is running 24/7 all year round.
Very good. Very good. Drainage is a monster issue. It's a monster issue. And the council, current and past, We're always talking about drainage, especially because we're developing at a very, very fast pace, as you know. We do have drainage standards that we have with these contractors, with these subcontractors, with these developers. We do. And so we work with them, and yes, we do make sure that they're following those standards. Now, some of the challenges is that, are the standards enough to mitigate all the drainage problems? And the answer to that is probably not. However, if you believe that a contractor or a developer did something purposely, against those rules or against those codes that caused you harm, you should certainly contact the city, but also you should contact a lawyer too.
Well, he went bankrupt, so it doesn't matter.
Would you? I don't know if you caught that, folks, but what your name, please?
Angie.
Angie. What Angie said is that the developer went bankrupt. Is that right? And sadly, that happens too. We have certain parts of town where maybe it was the roads never got done. And you're going, come on. But the developer went bankrupt. Or maybe they made this promise or this promise and then it was never followed through because of the developer. So again, Sioux Falls, if you're watching, I would just tell you, before you move into a neighborhood, before you buy a piece of property, also do your research on that developer. Ask around to see what others have dealt with. But so your sump pump is running all the time?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yours is too. Can I just add, are there sump pumps all over in that area? Yeah.
But mine runs the most because everybody's comes into my backyard.
Okay.
The runoff from the drainage from the north
comes into yours.
All 3 houses behind me come into mine.
Okay. What I would encourage you to do is talk with our drainage team in this. Have you done that yet?
No.
Okay. No, I would encourage you to do that. You can contact my office. I'll put you in contact with them. And then what we could do is come out here and we can look at not only your home, but all the other homes around it. And then we can see, are there things that we can do to mitigate that drainage or improve it? And there are things that we can do, okay? And we do it all over town. We do. And especially when you're having these rain events like we're having, it's something you really have to pay attention to. So great job.
So is that Public Works then?
Public Works.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I just have one more question.
No, don't worry. I'm here. I'm here for you.
When is 69th Street going to get paved? Because I thought that was supposed to be done like in 2008.
69th from where to where?
From T. Ellis to Sundowner or...
Okay. I don't know exactly that answer, okay? But we are spending more dollars in this part of town when it comes to roads. Because again, it's booming. It's booming. It's growing at a great pace. Here's what I can tell you is that that's another thing I can find out. Jesse, where's Jesse? Jesse, I can find that out for you. Every road now every single road in our town, every single one. We have now taken a picture of it and we've evaluated it and we've ranked it. Every single road. And what that's done is we've given it a rating in terms of its quality, its ride, its safety, how many potholes are in it, how are the thermal cracks, things like that. So now we've got a more objective way to where to put your taxpayer dollars versus in the past it was somewhat subjective, okay? So that particular road, 69th, out here, there's probably a couple things we're going to look at. Number one, what is the quality of it? And I don't know what the quality of it is.
Not good.
Not good. We would look at the amount of traffic. How's the traffic?
A lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic. Well, if you combine not good with a lot of traffic, that probably means it's high on the priority list. And I can find that out, Jesse, and I'll let you know too. All right. And would you mind would you help me just remember these two things? Thanks. We got to get drainage people out here, as well as I want to get you an answer on can we fish?
Well, there's a kayak out there.
And there's a kayak out there. Okay, good. All right. Very good. Joel, get that on TV. And as well as we'll talk about that road there too.
Does
Yeah.
it matter if the road is in a township? I don't know if that's
Oh, you
actually
bet it matters.
in.
Well, that's a big deal. Yeah.
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 So it has to be annexed in first.
Oh, there you go. Yes. No, if it's not a City of Sioux Falls road,
Right.
We've
So-
got other roads we can take care of.
Right.
We won't do that one.
So
No.
how do we try to get that annexed in,
Oh,
or
that's
what?
You got a couple hours? Well, annexation is a big topic, and it's probably the one topic as I've been your mayor that I've probably done as worse a job as anybody. The number of islands that we now have in the city of Sioux Falls have dramatically increased since I've been your mayor. We've created this boom town. Everybody wants to live here. Everybody wants to work here. Everybody wants to play here. 5 straight years of record-breaking construction, building this, building that, great quality of life. It's a great place to be. The problem is that as we're growing, we are growing around areas too, and trying to get those annexed with the state laws that we have, as well as individual property rights. It's really a challenge. But we're working on it now, thanks to the work of people like Councilor Neitzert, Councilor Kiley, Councilor Selberg. They're working to try to put together a policy so that we can annex land in a more productive fashion.
Okay.
So that's a township road?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, there's that answer. But thank you.
Okay,
You know,
thanks.
good job. Good questions. Thank you.
Yeah, because I have the guy on speed dial to come and blade it.
Well, we can check on
Delaprade
that.
Township
Jesse,
does,
we'll
I
check
think.
on that. Thank you.
Would development on the site segment be contingent, connected to being a higher priority?
Here, let me get this. All right, do you want to go there and then we'll go there? Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Thank you. I'll come back to you. Thank you. Hey, by the way, great turnout. I love it. Thank you all. And you can ask, we can turn the camera. We can go this way too. So thank you. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Lance Lindgren.
Les.
Lance.
Thanks, Lance.
Yes. 57th Street.
Yes, sir.
Since we're talking about streets,
I just drove it. Yep.
there's a lot of heavy traffic on,
Yeah, very
on that
much so.
street. And we're just wondering, are there going to be turn lanes installed, more traffic lights installed,
Very
and
good.
stuff like that to help alleviate the traffic jams that come through there all the time?
Well, and again, Lance, one of the challenges that you have when you're growing, like we're growing, number one, I want to keep Sioux Falls moving. So when I was driving down 57th from Louise and all the way to my turn, my first reaction was I had to stop at every light. And I'm going, there's got to be a more efficient way to keep traffic moving. But now, Lance, here's the other part of the deal. We're also, remember, trying to keep people safe. And you're trying to slow down traffic, especially if it's heavy and you're in a very residential district like we're at. So we're always doing traffic counts, Lance. We're always trying to evaluate, is there a way to keep Sioux Falls moving, keep it safe. But also, we are looking at adding or improving the capacity as well with turn lanes, whether it be a right turn lane, a left turn lane, adding bike lanes and things like that. So I don't know what the traffic count is for 57th, but I can only imagine it's busy.
I came through here 8 years ago where I consulted with a family that lived over here on this
Yes.
street for about 5 or 6 times. And every time I went through there was hardly any traffic.
Yes.
Now it's just completely different.
It is. You are in one of the fastest growing parts or an area, not only in Sioux Falls, not only in South Dakota, in the country. You are. This area of town is just exploding. And you know, there's rooftops everywhere. We've got T just passed another school bond. And by the way, I'm really close to the T school district. In fact, we may be in it. Is that right, Sam?
The other side of one of the streets.
The other side. So I'm in the Sioux Falls School District, but I'm also in the T School District.
You're really close to Harrisburg also.
And
I
I'm-
get mail for both.
That's right, and I'm in Harrisburg too. So we are. It certainly is different than it was 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, folks. I don't know if you're aware of this. I've only been your mayor for 7 years, and in that 7 years period of time, we have added the city of Watertown. Can you imagine that? I mean, imagine adding Watertown onto Sioux Falls, and we did that in only 7 years. That just kind of gives you a flavor for just how busy our town is right now. And I don't know if I'm going to take the blame or I'm going to take the credit. Where's the food at? I don't know. But I've enjoyed it. I mean, to me, if we're not moving forward, we're falling behind. We certainly have created a community where people want to live. But boy, it is booming. And so yes, Lance, it is not the same city as it was 8 years ago. It's not. But thank you. Good job. Keep it coming. Yeah, thank you.
Bill Vanneman.
Bill, thank you.
Just live right down the street. With 69th, I was going to say, would a developer wanting to develop the other side of that, would that be contingent or not? And then actually, in relation to 57th, adding the turn lane back at Holbrook, at that corner when they resurfaced that, I know helped that corner. I could tell on my morning commute. So the ones down this way, Galway, Sertoma, especially Sundowner, there was that fatality a couple years ago. Just, I know the traffic counts come in there, but how directly
Let
things
me
like
answer.
that come
Let me
into
answer
play.
the traffic one first, and I will get to his name is Heath Hoftizer. Heath and his team. What they're doing is they're evaluating turning lanes, stop lights, flashing reds, flashing yellows, traffic counts, turning lanes. They're doing all that stuff. And so if you have a concern about a specific intersection or road, always just let us know. And again, that's another public works type of deal. But we'll check on that for you, and I'll let Jesse know. Now let's talk about development. Really, development is dependent on, are there water lines and are there sewer lines that have already been developed out towards that area? Because if there's not going to be any development. But if there is, and my gut says, and I'm not positive, my gut says that is ready for development. And so when the city gets the water and the sewer in, okay, then it's ready for development, which is ready for roads, which is ready for schools, which is ready for stores, and more homes and things like that. So I don't know that specific area, but my gut says it's ready. Yeah. Keep it coming. Anything. Come on, folks. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Hey, you too, Mike.
Thank
All
you.
right. So, Mr. Mayor,
Tell the people your name first. I know you, but
yeah. All right. So my name's Eric.
Thanks,
I live
Eric.
on 64th right here.
Thank you.
You talked a lot about just Sioux Falls is a place that people want to live.
Yes.
It is. And it's growing leaps and bounds. We added Watertown to, right, the size of Watertown too. You just said that. What is City Hall doing then on the backside of that to bolster police force, fire, things of public service? I mean, my goodness, you can't watch the news without seeing some type of drug-related news story going on in Sioux Falls. So coming out of your office, what's happening?
Good job. Good job. Well, first of all, Eric, I'm going to push back just a little bit. It's not just Sioux Falls. If you want a drug-related story, it's happening in Tripp, South Dakota. It's happening in Eureka. It's happening in Watertown. It's happening in South Dakota. It's happening in all across America. And so, again, I don't want to minimize the drug issue, because if you read a story or watch something on the news about a crime that was committed in your town, okay? There's three reasons for it. Three. One, drugs. This meth deal is the real deal. Meth, opioids, heroin. That's the real deal. And it's happening everywhere, okay? And what happens is that these people that they try meth And miss, you're going to get a lot of pressure to try it. You're going to get pressure to try meth, to try heroin, to try opioids, and we just pray that you don't. Because once you do, you're hooked. This meth is a different drug. And so what happens is that they try it once, then they steal from their family, then they steal from unlocked cars, then they start going around stealing from unlocked garages, and then they start to knock off a drugstore or a lottery video place or whatever it would be. So Eric, that's one. Number two, alcohol certainly is another cause. And then the one that sadly is really picking up pace is mental illness. A lot of mental illness cases. So these things are happening not only in Sioux Falls, but they're happening all over the country. Now, what is Sioux Falls doing? Here's what we're doing. We are adding to our police team, we're adding to our fire team, and we've been doing that for 7 straight years, and we'll continue to do that. I've got another budget presentation that's coming out here real soon. It is a tight revenue environment, but there is one place that we're going to be hiring people, and that is police, so that we can stay one step ahead of this stuff that is occurring. Now, the one thing too, though, is we have added the city of Watertown. So you are going to have some folks that are going to move into town that are not going to be good neighbors, and they're going to really do some stupid stuff. But that's why, I would recommend that folks, and again, I'm at the Galloway neighborhood, and I'm at the Candlelight neighborhood in Sioux Falls. Okay, but here's the deal. If you folks are just going to rely on police to keep your families and your neighborhoods safe, you're sorely mistaken. It wasn't that way in the olden days, and it can't be that way now. That's why I'm so dang proud of you folks for being here tonight. Creating neighborhood associations is huge. Creating crime watch areas is huge. Actually being willing to engage your neighbor and giving a crap about your neighbor, that is huge. And that's what you got to do. You need to be our eyes. You need to be our ears. If you see something that looks funny, or it smells funny, or it doesn't feel right in your gut, you've got to make a call. You've got to get engaged. Because when you do, the odds are good that we'll stop that crime before it happens. But Eric, one last thing, and you can tell I'm pretty passionate about this one. One last thing. You are in a city, though, if you do the crime in Sioux Falls, we're going to catch you. We're really good at catching people. Just ask the county. We're really good at catching you. The problem is, we just wish that people wouldn't do these dumb things, but they do. And it's the drugs and the alcohol and the mental illness that's really spurring it on at a high level. Now come back at me, Eric. I know you're strong. I know you are. So come back at me. No. Come back. I need, coach me. Go ahead, buddy.
Do you know how many calls of service that 911 took for the city of Sioux Falls last year, roughly?
I don't.
Around 110,000 calls for service. And so with that many calls, the current staff that they have, they do a great job. Don't get me wrong. They do. But, they can't be everywhere all the time. And so what you said is completely true. We have that neighborhood watch and we have the neighborhood association stuff going on. Really, the question was just, you spoke briefly about it, the budget issues, and
yes.
Moving forward, if there was going to be a larger budget for police services, for sure. But
it is hard though. We are growing, and we're trying to stay one step ahead of the growth, and everybody wants something different. But I think the one thing that we really do well here is we do find good balance. And that's why I think people want to live here. We've got a great quality of life, even though you can't skate on that pond. We've got a great quality of life. It is a safe place to be. That's why people want to move here. There's a bevy of jobs that are available, really, really good schools, and just a great place to be. But at the same time, when you're growing as fast as we are, and you do see things on TV or in the newspaper or you hear about it on the radio, you do get concerned, and I don't blame you. I'm concerned as well. Because remember, there was a young man here. Remember the first thing that I said, my number one role, and it's really hard, but it is the one that I probably lose the most sleep on, is my number one job is to keep you safe. It is that important. And so, you know, I want to make sure that we follow through with that. But we need your help too. So good job, Eric. Thank you. And thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for caring. Yeah. Sam, I'm going to come back to you later. Who else? Come on, young people, older people, anybody. Come on. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your name, please.
My name is Becky.
Thanks, Becky.
And I live over on Culbert.
Thank you.
And my property is right on one of the culverts. There's 2 of them that run through the side of my property, and then there's another house on the other side of me, and then you cross the street, and then there are continued culverts into the pond.
Okay.
So there's 4 houses, and we all have very young children. There's no gates or grates or anything to prevent them from going in these huge tubes that when it's raining and there's a lot of stuff that comes from the fields and it just pours in, that we know that, like, they're young, and you know how we are when we're young, and they're young so that they don't listen. They listen right now, but when they start to get a little bit older, we have my son and the neighbor's boy, they have a little brother. We've talked, we think that they're probably gonna, what is gonna happen if we get you to go down and go shooting out the other side?
Yeah.
You cannot run fast enough to get from that side across the street before it's out in the pond. And it's a concern as a parent and as a neighbor if somebody else's kid is over at our house or something. I mean, yes, we have a fenced area, but we can only fence so far to that because there's an easement, so we couldn't fence the whole property. So there is like another 15 feet outside of the fence. So our concern is somebody getting hurt.
Yes. And I'm going to have a really bad answer for you, and it's going to make you mad, okay? It is, but here's the challenge. We've got culverts all over town, and there's water all over town, and there's danger all over town, and we can't put a protective gate in front of every culvert. We can't put a fence around this body of water. Remember when that young man and that young woman passed away down at the falls? Remember that? I had so many calls who said, Mayor, when are you going to finally get a fence up at the falls? And that's the thing, is that we can't protect everybody from every situation. However, I don't know this particular situation. I don't. It's certainly worth looking at to see, is this a unique situation? Is it more dangerous than others? And so we can look at that for you. And Jesse, if you'll write that one down too, I'd appreciate it. We'll check that out. It'll be our drainage team. And maybe we should put some sort of protective fence or gate there. My gut though too, you said something about farm, the water comes from the farm, and so I'll bet there's a lot of junk in there.
It doesn't seem to be too bad.
Doesn't? Okay.
It's kind of a marshy little area.
Okay.
And then it almost has like a constant stream.
Yeah.
That's always there.
Well, and here's our challenge, and get ready for this. Once we put that protective gate up, then guess what happens? We get that 100-year rain event, and then all of a sudden your house floods. And that's that balance. And I know you're going, Mayor, you didn't give me the answer I wanted. And I'm not trying to, I don't want to make you mad, but there's always these unintended consequences to the things that we do. And that's why I don't know if we can protect your family from that culvert, because if we did something, I'm wondering if it will only make things worse, because then all of a sudden corn stalks get in there or some other trees, and then we really create a situation for your whole area and the whole thing floods. But thank you for bringing it up. I appreciate it.
Yep.
I do. Good job. Can I ask where you work?
Sanford.
At Sanford. And then So why are you living out here? Would you, Jesse? Where do you work, first of all? What part of town?
Over on Kiwanis.
On Kiwanis. Okay, very good. Why do you folks live out here? What's the attraction of this southwest part of Sioux Falls?
My family lives on this side of town.
Very good.
It's very familiar.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in this area. It's easy to get on highways, interstate
Yes.
from this area, and it's quick.
A ton of good restaurants too.
Yeah, there's lots
you guys
of
have
places to
restaurants
eat.
over here. I love it.
You don't have to drive too far, and you're where you need to be.
Very good. Thank you. And friendly. Oh,
friendly.
I love it. Oh yeah, I love it. There's kids, that's for sure. I love it. Thank you. Good job. And we're going to get you an answer. And I'm going to learn. One of the best things about these programs, I learn all the time. I'm probably I probably get deeper into the weeds than some of my department heads would like, and some of the city employees would like. But I love this gig because I just keep learning about certain situations and why we do this and don't do that. But my gut says that is going to be an interesting one. But we'll figure it out. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Others, keep it coming. Thank you. Welcome. No, we'll bring that to you. Thank you. Welcome.
I'm Shelly Harms. I live over on this side of the pond. I have
Hi,
more
Shelley.
of a comment, I guess, than a
Please.
question. I have 3 young kids. We love the bike trails.
Yes.
We love the Parks and Rec department. That's unique to Sioux Falls. I grew up here. I remember Storyland Theater, things like that are free that we can take advantage of.
Yes.
Keep those in the budget, because that is not in other places. We've looked at moving, and
Yes.
it doesn't exist. So for families like ours with 3 kids, both of us working, that's huge. It's
Yes.
nice to be able to have things like that we can go to and take advantage of that are free.
Shelley, thank you. We do have a lot of things to do in Sioux Falls, and we are trying to keep them as affordable as we can. And if we can keep them free, we're trying to do that. The reality is, though, folks, you're going to have to understand is that we are a very conservative city, a very conservative state. We only pay for things in really 2 ways: sales tax revenues and property tax revenues. That's it. So we really have tight budgets in Sioux Falls and in South Dakota, and it's a real challenge. We've got sales tax revenues that are softening right now. The ag economy is softer than it's been. People are buying stuff on the internet. How many of you buy anything on the internet? Raise your hand, honestly. I know, all of us, I know. As we do that, we don't collect those sales tax revenues, and that's impacting us, so that's a big deal. So we are trying to keep things affordable, trying to keep things free, but it is becoming a challenge, and you'll see that in this next budget by this mayor. But good job. How do you get to the bike trail from here?
We drive and get on by 57th and Western.
57th and
There's the
Western,
entrance right
okay.
there. Is there any? I mean, we're way out here, and I don't know any way to connect.
No,
up to
Shelley,
that,
come here,
but-
come here. I when I was running for mayor, and I would come to the west side. I don't know if you remember the My Man Mike truck. I'd come to the west side, and oh my gosh, it was Mike. We don't get near the attention that the east side gets or the south side gets. The west siders, we want connectivity to the bike trail. We want our parks upgraded and things like that. We have tried to do that more and more. They're called spurs. Okay, we're creating spurs to the bike trail. Because you said something that just kind of made me cringe. You said we drive to this area and then we go on the bike trail.
We load up 5 bikes.
Oh, I know. I'm going, ugh. But we are trying to change that. We're trying to change that. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we've got those trails and those ideas ready to go as we're expanding. Okay, so we want to have all that planned. If you see a creek, or if you see something that looks a little, funky, you'd never build on it, that's the perfect place for us to put a bike trail spur. So good job, Shelley. Thank you.
Thank you.
And are you a Sioux Falls girl, born and raised?
Born here and then moved away. My parents moved when I was in high school, and then we came back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And 3 little ones.
Yes.
Very good.
We're busy.
What did they T school or Harrisburg school?
Pettigrew.
Pettigrew. Very good. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I like T in Harrisburg too. Okay, so it's good. Thank you. Yes, Miss. Thank you.
I'm very glad you just said T in Harrisburg.
Yes.
Because
Tell me your name first, please.
My name is Christy Tripp.
Christy, thank you,
I live
Christy.
over on West 66th.
Yes.
In the T
Yes.
district, Lincoln County. I live in Sioux Falls. For all practical purposes, I live in Sioux Falls.
Yes.
I've got to drive all the way to Canton to get my license tags. What's up with all that? Why can't you guys figure it out so that we have real basic, understandable boundary lines?
That's right. Christy, did you say you guys? No. Christy, as Sam knows, I'm city government, everybody. It's good to have you here, miss. I am city government. But we have been encouraging county government, Lincoln County, Minnehaha County, to work in collaboration and fix that issue for years. To me, it's very simple. You know, I'm a business person who's now in government, and I've been trying to bring business acumen to government, including being service friendly. You know, you're the customers, not government. You guys should be the customers. That one makes no sense to me. You could easily set up a satellite office near the City of Sioux Falls for Lincoln County license plates, but I'm going to get in trouble now. But no, it should have been addressed years ago, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. You know, in fact, I believe that county governments, you know, we could do those more efficiently too, more effectively. You know, we should be consolidating things, using technology more. In fact, why do you even have to drive? Why don't you just do that on the internet?
Or at Hy-Vee.
Or at Hy-Vee, or at Lewis, or something like that. You know, there's all, it's not rocket science, but sometimes in government, change can be a bit hard. It can. Christy, good job, good guts. Thank you. Thank you, good job. Keep it going. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Miss, can I get some water from you? Thank you so much, thank you. Please.
My name is Kristen, and
Kristen,
basically behind my backyard is 69th Street,
Okay.
dirt road.
Yes.
Very busy. People fly really fast. I know in the future it's going to be paved. I'm kind of scared it's going to be like 57th Street.
Yes.
What my question is there a certain amount of feet from my fence to where the pavement starts? Like a cushion, you know. I mean, we just have a small fence at this moment, and
there is
my daughter could easily go out in the street.
And I don't have the exact feet for you, but yes, certainly there is a distance between the road and your fence. That will happen. But here's the reality, okay? And I'm going to give you an answer you're probably not going to like either. You said, I hope 69th doesn't become 57th. It's going to become 57th.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It's going to be a busy thoroughfare at some point in time. I don't know if it's going to be 5 years or 10 years, but it's going to be a busy thoroughfare. But again, it should make your property even more valuable. It is, because it'll be where people are living, people are working, people are playing. But we will keep that road growing. We'll start with probably a paved 2 lanes, and then it'll probably go 2 lanes with a turning lane, and then it'll just expand to 2 in the turning. But yeah, I do believe it will be a 57th, maybe sooner than you think. Because one of the things that we're looking at as a city too are these interchanges off the interstate. Okay? That's coming too. And as those interchanges are built, then you've got more access to this part of town. And so that means that there will be more stores, more businesses, more homes. And so yes, that will occur. That will occur. It's not going to happen in my next year.
Can I ask one more?
No, you can ask as many as you
So
want.
85th is going to be connected, right? So we're going to be able to go from 229 and connect over to 85th, which is the dirt road.
I want to say yes, but I can't make any promises. They are looking at that as an interchange, yes. But again, things change. We're hoping to have that done maybe within the next 10 years or so, maybe earlier. But I can't promise you because things change. But the odds are good. The odds are good. The federal government, they help pay for those interchanges, okay? And now they have certain requirements before they'll build that for you. And one of the requirements is they want that area kind of developed before now they build those interchanges. In the old days, it was you build the interchange and then you build around it. Now, because money's so tight nationally, now they want most of the development and then they'll create the interchange. You seem concerned.
No, well, it's the
Coach
traffic
me.
issue.
Yes.
It's 5 o'clock traffic. I actually don't take 57th. I go all the way to T, come all the way down Sundowner, which is a dirt road, to get home.
Yep.
Because traffic coming on 57th West is awful.
Yep.
So we need, even though it's unfortunate for me, but we need 69th and we need 85th to be easy connections for this side of town.
And I agree. I agree. I mean, I drove 57th here tonight, and I'm going, wow, this is one busy road. And that was later. That was around 5:40. So that was later, and no, it's busy out here. I know that. You know, we just built that super Walmart out there, and you know, and it is just growing leaps and bounds out there with you know, new car dealership, new bank, new this, new that, and it's almost kind of embarrassing to me. We've got this monster development out there, and yet I still got a gravel road that goes from the, if you go east of that Walmart, there's still a gravel road there. And then you're kind of going, oh my gosh, you know, did we get ahead of ourselves there? We are going to pave that. But no, you're next. This area coming out here, that's next. Yeah, good job. Thank you. Keep it coming. Thank you. Please do. Please do. Please do.
My name's Phil.
Hi, Phil.
You said that you thought 69th was going to be a 57th, but I mean, there's real no plans for interchange on 69th. I mean, they're looking at 85th. So why do you think 69th is going to be such a heavy road?
Because you're booming out here.
But I mean, it dead ends into the interstate. I don't see it being a heavy road.
Really?
Yeah. I see
Watch.
85th and Sundowner being heavy, but
there were certainly there. I mean, all I can do is I can just tell you stories. I talk with more people in a day who say, Mayor, I remember when that was a soybean field. Mayor, I remember when that was a cornfield. Mayor, I remember when we used to play ball here or we played ball there. Now it's one of the busiest parts of our city. And so, Phil, all I can tell you is that this T. Harrisburg, Southwest Sioux Falls, this thing is rocking right now. It's just booming at the highest level. And that's why we're trying to work collaboratively to figure out how are we going to handle water? How are we going to handle sewage? How are we going to handle traffic? You know, how are we going to use these limited dollars, state, federal, to keep up with the pace of growth that is happening really out here in this area? And so, again, I think that's a good thing, but I do know, I do believe that 69th is going to be it's going to be a busy road. Now, you're right, though. You know, if there's a dead end, if it's not a perfect flyway, it will limit some of the traffic. It will. That's true. But then the goal is, well, then how do you stop the dead end? You know, well, do we go underneath it? Do we go over it? Do we make a connection to it? There's all these things. Okay. Good job, Phil. Thank you. Good job, though. Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you. And then, sir, we'll come to you next. Thank you.
I just have a quick comment on that.
Sure.
When I asked about 69th Street, you said it probably wouldn't be paved, but now you're telling her that it'll be sooner than you think.
No,
I was just wondering.
All of these roads are being evaluated for traffic, for growth opportunities, for whatever it would be. Okay, I don't have a timeline for you, but yes, it's going to be sooner than you think. It is. It is just like, you know, who would have thought that we were going to build a new school in T? They just split up. They just split from the Lenox School District. Just what, yesterday? Wasn't it yesterday? And now how many? They built what, 3 schools? So again, I'm not trying to. This is what's happening in this environment. You folks have picked a community, or at least an area, that everybody is talking about. People nationally, we're in the national news now about every 2 weeks about all the good things that are happening here in Sioux Falls. And now, and Eric, I know that's scaring you, but I get it, I respect that. But with that comes growth. And so I'm just telling you it's going to happen sooner than you and I think, because I've seen it. Again, when I was elected as your mayor back in 2010, we were not doing very well. And now we've created an environment where we are certainly doing better than almost everybody in the country. And we are growing, we are booming, we are keeping ahead of it, but certainly it is change. It is change. But I think it's good. I think it's good stuff. But hang in there. And I'll get you a date. We're going to get you a date on that 69th. Okay? And we'll figure that out. It'll be a projection and things will change. But we'll get you a projection. Thank you. Thank you.
And I just want to say, Mayor, I can't speak for anybody else except myself and my family, but we're very, very grateful that you have been our mayor for the last 7 years, and I think you've done a tremendous job. Well, and I want to just say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to miss this gig in ways that you can't imagine. You know, I was. Thank you. I was doing. I really enjoyed business. I enjoyed corporate America. I did, but there has been no greater thrill for me than to serve as your mayor. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to miss it dearly. I still have a year to serve, and I want to get some things done for you. Things aren't perfect, but I'm never going to back away from the fight, ever, ever, ever. And but thank you. I really appreciate that.
So, do we have like a governorship in the future?
We didn't get that one on, then we'll cut that. Thank you. I did announce today that I'm not going to run for the U.S. House. I did make that announcement today, and then Cindy and I will decide, what we do next. I just want another day. Give me another day. Take the day that God gives us and let's just do some good stuff with it. If I wasn't your mayor, I would never have this opportunity to engage you like this. I love it. I just love it. I never know what the questions are going to be, but I love it. And to me, it's the way that also we should govern. In the olden days, if you were going to be the mayor or the governor or a senator, you had to actually talk to the people. And so that's what I do. I listen to them, I talk to them, I learn from them. I make a bunch of them mad every now and then. But at the same time, at least you know where I stand. So thank you. Those very kind comments. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. You've been very patient.
No problem. My name is Brad, and live just down the street. And just would like to echo those sentiments as well. Thank you for your role in making Sioux Falls a great place to live. My wife and I moved here from Kansas 18 years ago, and we still have family back there. And they always kind of make fun of us for living in South Dakota. And I say, you should come up and see Sioux Falls sometime.
Thanks,
and those
Brad.
that have come up here understand why we live here. This is a great place to live, a great place to raise a family, probably most importantly for us. So you touched on an issue that's of interest to me when you talked about sales tax revenue. So I'm going to tap into your business mind here a little bit. What visions or what ideas do you have going forward so that we can maintain a stable revenue of a tax base to fund our city and maybe even more broadly even our state? Because we rely on sales tax and property tax, just like you said. And if those are leveling or, as you mentioned, dwindling because maybe of things like internet sales, how do we rectify that? Because to me, that's a big issue for our state and our city going forward.
And it was Brad.
Yes.
Brad, I think it's the biggest issue for our city and for our state. I do. And I'm not going to minimize the crime thing, Eric. I don't want to. I think it's the biggest issue that we face. This internet sales tax challenge is is a monster. It's a Godzilla. And Governor Dugard knows it, and this mayor knows it, and others. You're going to feel it too. So how do we stabilize it? It's going to be a challenge. I'm only your mayor for 1 year, and then I get out. The next mayor, the next council, they're going to have even greater challenges than I've had in this final year. The ag economy, we need that to get back. The ag economy. So, folks, if you're not cheering on agriculture, you need to start, because that is our foundation here in Sioux Falls. It's not the healthcare, it's not the banking, it's ag. We need ag doing better. Number two, we do need either the Supreme Court, or we need the Congress to address the sales tax collection issue on the internet. That's going to have to happen. But knock on wood that it does. But I'm not as confident as I wish that I was. Then you throw in, Brad, here's the other challenge. We've got a federal government that has been broke for years. And so when we do start to try to balance that budget, and I actually do hope that we try to do that, what that means is that cuts are coming. And the cuts are already coming in the state, and the cuts are already coming in the city. And so what that means is that you and I, as taxpayers or people that care about Sioux Falls, we're going to have to pay a greater share. And so how do you do that? Either we pay it through fees or through taxes. And that is a hot topic in South Dakota. And if you want to kill a crowd very quickly, start talking about taxes. But it is truly one of those things that if we're going to keep relying on sales tax revenue and property tax revenues, we're going to have to fix those two things. Because I don't see South Dakota doing a income tax. I don't see it. At least an individual income tax. And the corporate income tax, I don't think that's going to happen either. So what does that mean? Sales tax revenues, are those going to increase? Property tax revenues, will they make them higher? I don't know. But Brad, I don't have a good answer for you. But it is something that all of you need to start caring about in a bigger way. And we got a situation where I know I've got young families out here. You're trying to do the following things. You're trying to make sure you have a good house that's safe, that's sanitary, that's decent. You're trying to find a way to get your kids to school, good schools. You're trying to pay for health care and medication and things like that. And so it's becoming a real challenge. And so the last thing you want is a mayor or a governor or a senator who says, hey, we need more taxes, but it's real. It's real. And so that's why this budget that I'm going to present, it's going to be a very balanced budget. We will live within our means. We will. But there was a great person who said, Mayor Mike, please keep things free or affordable. Who was that? That was right there. Thank you. And it was Shelley? Yes. Shelley, can you believe I remember that? Very good. Remember what I told Shelley. We're trying to keep things free and affordable so that she can do these great quality of life things that not only does she enjoy, but more importantly, she's more concerned about, was it 3 kids? Her 3 kids. But at the same time then, if we're going to live within our means and not raise our taxes, then someday I'm going to have to tell Shelley, you know that one program that your kids love so much? We're going to cut it. We're going to cut it. And those are some of the talks that we're having right now, is cutting some of those programs that people like Shelley and her kids love so much. And that's really, really hard. But it's real. Especially if we're going to live within our means and not raise taxes, Brad. So good job. Shelley, thank you. But stay positive, okay? Okay, thank you. Keep it coming. Good job. I really appreciate it. Welcome.
I'm Amy. I live over here on the pond.
Hi, Amy.
One question I have is, do the police have I never see any police officers out here patrolling. Yes. The reason I say that is because this last winter, our house was broken into, middle of the night, and they said they were going to step up patrol. I know over in Candlelight, they've had issues with people breaking into cars. We had issues last summer. but I never see any police over here patrolling.
Okay. Well, Shelley,
Amy.
God, you're Shelley. Sorry, Amy. Amy, yes, we do have people that patrol this area. We've now done something different. We did it about 3 years ago. We now break up our city into quadrants. So we have teams of people that will cover your area. And it's the same teams, the same women, the same men. They're covering this area because they want to get to know you. They want to get to know your neighbors. They want to get to know what type of crime is happening, where is it happening, how is it happening. And so, yes, we are patrolling your area. Now, if you believe that we need stepped-up patrols in certain areas, then let us know that too. We do that all the time. I don't want to say I loved what you said, but you said we had people busting into cars, didn't you? Yeah. Eric, that's what it is. It's this drug crap. They're busting in, they're stealing stuff out of the cars, and then they go sell it so they can buy drugs to feed their habit. It's happening all over town.
And there were houses, I know there was, I think, one over in Candlelight earlier this winter that got broken into in the middle of the day when parents, people were gone.
Was there a door unlocked in that
I
one?
think they went through the window, but they had an alarm system. Ours went
Okay.
off at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And by the time the police got there, the footprints were behind the pond. They were running behind the pond. But by
Okay.
the time the police got there, they were gone.
Okay. We do have patrols in your area. If you believe, in fact, this is where the neighborhood watch, the Galloway neighborhood association, the other one, the Candlelight neighborhood, which you're working on, those are so powerful because then you have a direct link to that quadrant commander, and then you can work with them directly in terms of what you're seeing. Again, remember, you're our eyes and you're our ears. And so, again, if you believe that we need something different, let us know. Thank you. Now, if just a quick piece of advice, folks, if you're not locking your doors, your car doors, then it's your own fault, okay? If you're not locking your doors at night, including your garage door, then it's your own fault. I'm sorry, it just is. Nowadays, it is. Turn your lights on. When you go to bed at night, turn those lights on. Those lights, they freak criminals out. They hate light. They love darkness. Turn those lights on the front of your house. If we can get this whole neighborhood lit up with their porch lights, that's a great thing. Trim those bushes. Trim those bushes. Keep those trimmed too, and that'll really help. And then remember, be the eyes and ears of your neighbor. Okay. Look out for everybody. If something looks funny, it smells funny, it probably is, and so let us know. So good job.
Just
Sam?
to follow up on the questions about crime.
Sure.
And this is hearsay. I just talk to people, and this is what I hear. Is Sioux Falls light on crime or the punishment for juveniles?
Well, Sioux Falls doesn't make the rules
Okay.
in terms of punishment or sentencing. That is done statewide or legislatively. So we just follow the rules that are set by the state. Now, I do know this, though, that there has been a concerted effort to try to get more and more people out of jail, out of correctional facilities, out of prisons, and back onto the street more and more. And so some of these crimes, they don't get near the harshest sentence that they used to, Sam. But when it comes to juvenile crime, I don't have a good answer for you. I know that there was a concerted effort a while back with some of the challenges that they had in Plankington, where they were trying to evaluate all the juvenile crime and the sentencing. And I know there were some changes made, but I don't know if I would consider it light sentencing. Eric, do you know anything?
Well, you can research Juvenile Justice Reform Act in South Dakota. That'll give you some answers on how they've lightened the punishment and how they're trying to keep people out of correctional facilities and such. Hearsay again, juveniles can commit a crime. They can steal a car, and 2 days later they're hanging out with their buddies again.
Yeah.
That's right. They're handed back into the environment that maybe didn't foster enough structure, and they got in trouble in the first place. So, but you can look that up, Juvenile Justice Reform Act, and I believe that's a statewide issue.
And one of the things that is really a hot topic now is that people that are using drugs or even selling drugs, those sentences have been now reduced too, so that we're not putting as many people in jail, and of course that's causing some great issues. It is, because then are they going back and doing the same crime or doing the same drug? So yeah, it's a good job, Sam. Thank you. Others, keep it coming. Thank you.
Just regarding crime, I'm proud of all of us actually for kind of policing each other and being able to go on that Facebook page. I know like 2 years ago I had this dream of having a Facebook page for our whole entire neighborhood, and now I think it's over 600 or more people, and it's so great to be able to go there. Like I thought I heard gunshots one night, and I went on that page, and it's like, oh, sorry, my son was blowing off fireworks. So like we're constantly seeing like, is this your dog? Is this your pet? Like, and instead of having to call the police, we're kind of, being responsible for each other. And I actually applaud all of you for that. I think it's a great neighborhood association. So thank you.
It is. Good job. Having 600 people on a Facebook page for a neighborhood association, that is huge. That's wonderful. So thank you. Can I just quickly, would you mind telling the people of Sioux Falls, how did you get it set up? Go through how did you do it? Give us a 5-step process on how to build a neighborhood association. You did it here at Galloway, so how do we do it across the city? Go.
Well, okay, so for the Facebook page,
I want to know about setting up an association.
An association?
Go.
Jessica, come here.
All right, Jessica, thank you.
She's better at this than I am. There's a whole committee of us, and I'm so proud of all of us that we've got this happening, and we have parties at the pond with bouncy castles and the bands and things like that, and it's amazing to get the turnouts that we get.
Wow!
And so I'm really excited about the actual association. But you tell more about how the association was created.
Jessica, thank you.
Okay, so about a year ago,
Can you get this?
it started because my family was actually thinking about moving. We came from a small town, and we wanted to go back to a small town because it has a strong sense of community. And I can't even tell you exactly how it happened, but in my, for whatever reason, I came across a picture. Mitchell had a pumpkin party here, and the kids painted pumpkins. Right. And I came across that as we were thinking about, should we stay in Sioux Falls, should we move to a smaller town where there's a stronger sense of community? And as I found that picture, for reasons I can't explain, in my web search, I came across the city's neighborhood association program. And it was late in April, and I contacted Adam, who was great to work with, and he explained the whole program to me, and this is how easy it was. Within a week, we had it set up, and he said, oh, by the way, there's grants you can apply for.
Yes.
I'm like, well, awesome. He said, well, they're due next Tuesday. I was like, wow. But we got it put together. He helped us. I put a notice on the Facebook page that Mitchell started. The outpouring, the neighbors, like, where's the association people? Hands. There's a lot of people here who really reached out and said, yeah, we'll help get that started. Mitchell and Sandy took off with the social events. We got grant money to have a party. We had a huge party, which you can talk more about. We did things like fixing up the park, replacing perennials that just hadn't grown, making it look better. We started neighborhood watches, welcoming committee. Heather with the welcoming committee. How many welcome baskets did you deliver this last week? So 9 new neighbors. I think last year we had 40 new neighbors come through.
Wait a second, Jessica, you do welcome baskets?
Yeah, Heather puts together welcoming baskets.
Oh my gosh, talk about old fashioned. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is not, I love it. I love it. It's like the old welcome wagon days. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Keep going. Proud of you. Nice job.
I'm trying to think of what are some of the other things we've done. Halloween parade. So we have a great trail around the pond here. The kids came dressed in costumes. Neighbors set up spots around and handed out kids, and so we've had just a great outpouring of community.
It was like trunk or treat, only they would walk for it like it was like a parade.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and just everybody getting to know each other has been very helpful. And so I know for me personally, it's that sense of community that I thought was missing, and what was making me start to look at other places. I definitely feel that now. So
right.
Let's talk about the social stuff.
No, well, I mean, I kind of echo what you were saying. Like, when I first moved to this area, I would go on walks and see all kinds of people kind of my age and think, I wish I could get to know these people, but, how do you do that? So starting this Facebook group and this actual Galway Park edition was the answer. And now I feel like I can walk around and know most of the people that I see, Sam and everybody else, and greet them and stop in and say hi. And it's such a great feeling to be able to do that. And I don't think that would have ever happened without building that sort of community that we've done. We even went door to door to get 70% for the neighborhood watch and things like that. But we've really, the social committee has gone out of our way to do everything we can to have fun events and to pull everyone together and to get to know each other and to talk to each other rather than calling the police if there's a problem. Talk to one another and say, did you notice this or did you notice that? So yeah, and it's great. And also, yes, the welcome committee knocking on doors and handing out plates of goodies is hilarious. The people love it. They think it's so great. Yes, Heather, come here.
Heather, if you don't mind, thank you. First of all, yes. Well, first of all, I want to thank the Galloway Neighborhood Association for coaching the rest of the city on how not only simple it is, but also how effective it is and the difference that it can make. So, on behalf of 178,500 people that have made Sioux Falls their home, I'm personally going to thank the Galloway Neighborhood Association for all you're doing. Just really proud of you. So congratulations, everybody. Nice job. And Heather, you've got to tell the people of Sioux Falls what's in the welcome basket. All right, here we go. So please tell us, what's in it?
Well, we have a few things, household items, maybe some magnets to go on your new fridge, and a letter that gives the information about our association and the Facebook page. It also gives, actually, Pat, I don't know if she's here today, but she actually bakes homemade cookies, and those go in the basket as well.
Oh my God, that's the olden days that are back, and it's happening here at Galloway. I love it. I love it. I mean, actually having neighbors engage neighbors, making baked goods, making people feel welcome, being the eyes and ears, looking out for each other, celebrating special events. It's just wonderful. What are Halloweens like around here? Do you have to buy a bunch of bags of candy? Pretty big? Well, thank you. Good job. Other questions, comments? Yes, welcome. Tell me your name, please.
My name's Julie Parker.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. I've lived in Sioux Falls about 3 years.
Okay.
I moved here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Welcome, Julie.
Yeah, I was born here, though, but I spent most of my life away from here. You mentioned mental health as one of the issues behind the crime. Jail doesn't really help mental health people.
Not
What
at
is
all.
the city doing to try to help people get treatment and get medication and resume a productive life?
Good job.
Who have mental health issues?
Julie, thank you. Not only is it an issue in Sioux Falls, it's been an issue in this great state for years. My mom was the head nurse in the olden days. It was called the State Hospital. She had been there for 35 years trying to care for people that had mental challenges. And we had challenges then and we've got challenges now. And we don't do near enough to help people that have mental illness challenges. And in fact, what we're doing is more and more, we're just kind of throwing people out on the street and you take care of yourself as best you can. Here's what Sioux Falls is doing. We've got a community health team and we try to care for people regardless as best we can. And now we're trying to do even more in the mental health side as well. But also we're trying to work with people like our police team, our fire team, code enforcement. We're trying to be on the lookout for situations that we believe there's a mental challenge involved. A number of the bad neighbors, and I don't want to denigrate these, but we have some bad neighbors that just don't know how to be a good neighbor. Maybe they're in a hoarding situation. And you can't imagine how many hoarders we have in the city of Sioux Falls. And what they do is they just collect stuff. And where we really find it is when we're on a fire call or a police call or a code enforcement call. And so we try to get people help, Julie, as best we can. But I think maybe as you know, if you care about people with mental health issues, many times they have to want to help themselves. And here's kind of the rule when it comes to mental health. We can't force you to get help. We can't. You have to either be potentially someone who can hurt yourself, or you can hurt others. But if you don't meet those two criteria, we can't force help upon you. And sadly, that's one of the issues that we deal with. And then you talk about mental illness. There's so many definitions of it. Whether it be is alcohol abuse, drug abuse, all these other things. Is that a sign of being some mental instability too? But Julie, it's a real issue in Pittsburgh. It's an issue in Sioux Falls, but it's an issue in the small towns all across America too. And sadly, what we do now though is we try to do the best we can to care for them for at least while they're in the kind of the intake for that situation they created. But then many times we put them right back on the straight. Our biggest care facility for people that are challenged right now are some of those nonprofits. The Bishop Dudley, the St. Francis House, the Banquet, Community Health, and things like that, Julie. Yeah, it's a real challenge. Good job. Others, or have you had enough? Please come on in. Come on in. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Alan, but I live in
Alan?
the area here.
Thank you.
You were successful, with Foundation Park now, you brought in the wind chill project.
Yes. Thank
Are
you,
you
Alan.
looking at other prospects to come in to strengthen our tax base, to bring in manufacturing, to bring in some of that, so we have that coming in?
You bet. Alan, first of all, big announcement today with wind chill. Foundation Park is by far the largest development park ever created in South Dakota. And it was a collaborative effort in the spirit of not just resting on our laurels. We know we're a boom town right now. We know we've got new businesses coming into town like crazy. We know we've got 5,000 job openings right now. We know we've got the lowest unemployment rate in America. We know that there's other people that are looking at us, but we're not stopping. That's why people invested their time, their talent, their treasure into Foundation Park so that we can keep more jobs coming. Sioux Falls Development, Forward Sioux Falls, the community development team with the City of Sioux Falls, we are always out there trying to negotiate on your behalf to bring more business here. And there are more announcements to come. That's all I can say right now. But Alan, yeah, there are some more, and we also though we want to make sure it's good business that's coming into town too. Not all of you may agree with me, but one of the biggest challenges that I face as your mayor, it wasn't the event center, it wasn't pension reform, it wasn't the indoor pool. One of the biggest challenges that I faced as your mayor was the Southside Walmart. That was a beast. It was one of the more challenging things I've ever dealt with. But I think that what you see is that when you can create an opportunity like that, all the development that is spurred on around it, and it is just going crazy out there, creating jobs, improving quality of life. Lifting people up with better wages, better benefits, and so that's good too. Now, do I still think the wages could be better? You bet. But that's what's happening right now. Competition is driving better wages, better benefits, better places to work. So if you're looking for a new job right now or a better job, Sioux Falls is the place to be. Because again, we got the lowest unemployment rate in America right now. We're at about 2.4%. 5,000 job openings. So if you want a better job, update your resume and get out there. We need you. Alan, thank you. What kind of jobs do you think we need here? Because we've got now research has been a big deal with Avera, Sanford. Healthcare is exploding. Manufacturing is kind of that hidden gem, but it's really growing right now. Manufacturing, construction, tourism, retail, banking is back. Really the one right now that's maybe the most challenged is agriculture. But Alan, any thoughts? What do you think we're missing? High tech? What do you think?
I mean, it seems like a lot of the towns about our size and around the, are getting more into the tech. You have the Google data centers having all of those things, and we don't have, I mean, maybe that's kind of the thing is we don't have that.
Yep.
And maybe we're not the crossroads for it, but I mean, you go to Fargo, they have they have Microsoft. You go to Des Moines, they have Google. They have, so it's like we're missing out on the crossroad.
Well, if you go straight north from here, from Galloway neighborhood, if we go straight north from here, that's where you're seeing those development parks, those dreamers, those visionaries, those more high-tech, entrepreneurial. That's where that's happening, kind of out there by University Center, that area, the new Discovery District and more. So hang on, we're trying to get that ready for development too. Good job, Alan. Where do you work?
Butler Machinery.
Very good. Oh, brilliant. You guys are busy. Yes, as is probably everybody else. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Please, just thank you. Thanks, Alan. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
My name's Phil.
Phil?
You had mentioned that you're out there all the time, or that someone's out there all the time trying to bring in more business.
Yes.
Do we have anyone promoting Sioux Falls as a place to live, to bring in quality people to help fill some of these jobs? Because, to tell you the truth, it is tough to fill a job.
Yeah.
I work for a construction company, and we're looking all the time, to try and find people that are going to show up on a regular basis, and we pay pretty good. We have something in place for that?
Phil, good job. Not only is the City of Sioux Falls, this mayor, community development, Sioux Falls development, Forward Sioux Falls, the Chamber of Commerce, not only are we doing it very aggressively, but also you've got the state is doing it and so many others, because not only is it Sioux Falls looking for jobs or looking for workers, it's Yankton, it's Brookings, it's Aberdeen, it's Chamberlain, it's Miller, it's all over the state. And the way we used to do it, Phil, is that we'd go to the small farms and the small ranches around this area, and we'd recruit these great people to move into the city. Then that didn't, we couldn't do that anymore. Now we're going not only nationwide, now we're going internationally to try to find good workers to come into your city, into your state, or into your country. But Phil, it's a big issue. It is. The good news, if there is any, is that wages are going up. They are. They've had to. And if you're in a situation where you believe your wages aren't going up, then go find another job somewhere else. Sincerely, if you're a good worker and you're loyal and you've got good training behind you, update your resume and get out there. I'm not kidding you. And I'm not trying to make the other employers mad. I'm not, but this is a very competitive environment right now. So if you're a good worker and you've got a good training and you're loyal and you believe that you're valuable, and if you're working in a situation that you believe you're not getting your fair share or the wages that you deserve or the benefits that you deserve, and again, I'm a business guy, this is a perfect time for you to go out there and find a better job. It really is. It really is. I'll tell you, employers are hungry, as Phil mentioned, and they are paying more than they used to. So good job. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. Others?
I just have something off of that.
Sure. Thank you.
I'm in the banking world.
Yes, I was too.
And it's actually quite frustrating because I've been actually just departments have been let go many times. I've had to Wells Fargo let us a bunch go. Bancorp let us go. Now I'm at City, and I'm not sure if it's a possibility, but there's rumors. And then of course I was unemployed. it didn't seem that easy to find a job in Sioux Falls. You know, I'm on this site, I'm applying all, you know, during the day I'm updating my resume. I have someone actually helping me with my resume that was from the last employer. And it didn't seem that easy. And now I am making way less than I was at my last job. So it's actually quite frustrating.
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge your situation, and I can't speak to your individual situation. Only you can, you know, you're living it. And so, you know, I don't want to minimize your situation, your issue, maybe your frustration. I don't want to minimize that. But what I can say is that there has never been a better time, though, for someone who is a hard worker, who's qualified, who shows up to work, who's got these capabilities that people are looking for. There has never been a better time than now to go out there and market yourself, okay? When you have low unemployment like we do, when you have help wanted signs everywhere, and yes, when you have this insatiable desire to grow companies, improve their profits, serve their clients better, whatever it would be, I do like your chances. I do. Now, again, I don't know your individual situation. I don't know exactly what type of work you like or you want, but also I'll say this too. If you're willing to even kind of look outside of the box just a little bit, you know, you're well qualified in this box. What I would encourage you to do is just look outside the box a little bit too. Because right now, employers, they are taking risks on good people. They're willing to train you on how to do something different if you are a good person. They're willing to invest in you if you are a good person, a good worker, has good potential. And that is happening more and more in Sioux Falls than it ever has. Phil, in the olden days, we would recruit people in to try to fill the jobs. Now what we're doing is we're actually trying to find good people and then we're training them up. We're providing the training versus looking for something on a resume that was already trained. Now we're actually training people to fill the jobs. So again, I don't want to minimize your situation, not at all, not at all. But I will say this, I think it's a great time for you, for all the people that are watching this program, if they are looking for a different opportunity, a better opportunity to maximize their skills and their training and their willingness to work their butts off, this is a great time to do it. Yeah, you're right. Financial services has gone through some fluctuations here in Sioux Falls. It has. But I also know this, there are financial services employers right now that are really struggling to find good workers. There are. Now, it may not be the big ones, but there's plenty. So good luck to you. And thanks for sharing your story. Sometimes as the mayor, and sometimes as the head cheerleader here, okay? Sometimes I don't know everybody's individual deal. I don't. I hear so many stories, so many situations, and I'm trying to evaluate, 180,000 people and what they're doing and what's important to them. But the reality is sometimes I don't take enough time to actually hear that individual story. And so I really appreciate it. For you to have the guts to actually share that, not only with me, but with the people of Sioux Falls, that's a big deal. And that's happening all the time. We've got someone who can't afford their drugs. They're type 1 diabetic and they can't afford their drugs. Or we had someone who did have their home busted into, and it scared the holy living crap out of them. And that's something that once you have your car busted into, or you have your home busted into, you never feel the same. You feel violated. And, so Eric, when you talk about crime and how it's bothering you, and I'm trying to minimize it or trying to say, oh, we're on top of it, Eric. If it happened to me or directly, I'd probably think even more differently. But I will tell you this: it's happened to my family, and when it did, I was mad, and I wanted to catch him, and I still want to catch him, and we didn't. But we're going to bust our butts to prevent it from happening, and then if they do, we're going to try to catch them the next time. So thank you. I don't know how long we've been talking. How long? What is this, Joel? It's 7:30. Folks, how are we doing? Does anybody have a good, real hot one that they want to address me on? You can. We can go longer than 7:30 too. All right, puppy. Looks like, Joel, we're done. First of all, before we cut off, Sioux Falls, this is the way that it can be. If you want to, create a situation, create an environment where your family's going to enjoy it, your kids are going to enjoy it, you're going to feel safer, you're going to feel more engaged. Well, look what Galloway has done. Look what these neighbors have done. And you can do the same thing. So I would encourage you to do it. This has been a great listening and learning session for me. I've learned a lot. Obviously, the things that are challenging this neighborhood is we got drainage challenges. We're worried about keeping our family safe. Growth is certainly a challenge out here, and so much more. But at least the Galloway people and the Candlelight people, you're gonna set up a neighborhood association, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Did you get that, Joel? Yes. All right. Thank you. But I truly thank you for engaging me today. I'll stay after the cameras shut off and we'll engage some more. But on behalf of the people, hey, Sioux Falls, look what they're doing here on the southwest side. You can do it too. Thank you and make it a great night.